He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there.
100%. These guys on the show, Mr. Bradshaw, know I'm not a fan of his. We've been around each other personally, and he was not a kind person.
He does not. I had to go over and introduce myself to him. He's not. I had to go, hey, Aaron, I'm Terry Bradshaw.
Aaron Rodgers has become the talk of the town once again, and this time, it's not just about his arm strength or playoff stats. Rumors are swirling around the NFL that the legendary quarterback might be headed to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, you heard that right. Rodgers in black and gold. But not everyone's thrilled about it. In fact, Hall of Famer and Steelers legend Terry Bradshaw didn't hold back. He called the idea nonsense and made it clear he wants no part of Rodgers in Pittsburgh. Bradshaw even went as far as to say that Aaron should just stay in California where he belongs. This clash of quarterback royalty is setting the internet on fire. What's behind Bradshaw's strong reaction? And could Rodgers really be the next face of the Steelers franchise? Let's break it all down.
But obviously, when Aaron Rodgers walks in that building, the Steelers are a better football team. So he absolutely is worth the wait. What does that mean when the season starts? Where does he take them? I do not know. But the quarterback room you have right now is not going to accomplish too much, and when I say too much, winning football games to get you to the playoffs. So the wait is absolutely going to be worth it because he is walking in the best quarterback in that room, and he's going to help your team succeed at the highest possibility over them dudes. So is he worth the wait? Absolutely, because you don't have no answer at quarterback right now. So you got to wait, and I don't care how long you got to wait.
Aaron Rodgers now stands at the center of a concrete possibility, joining the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are reportedly waiting for Rodgers to give them the green light before making any official moves. With Rodgers being one of the strongest quarterbacks in the NFL, this potential transfer could be a perfect fit. Pittsburgh, after all, doesn't currently have a strong candidate to lead their offense, making Rodgers the ideal solution to fill that gap and bring new energy to the team. But as soon as news broke that Aaron Rodgers might be heading to the Steelers, reactions flooded in from all corners of the NFL world. Fans, analysts, and players weighed in, most intrigued, some excited. Yet one voice stood out for its strong opposition: Terry Bradshaw, the Steelers' legendary Hall of Famer. Bradshaw quickly overshadowed much of the positive buzz, making it clear he believes the Steelers should steer clear of signing Rodgers. His blunt rejection has added a whole new layer to this unfolding drama.
What do you think about possibly Aaron Rodgers being the quarterback? That's a joke. He shouldn't. That is just, to me, is a joke. What are you going to bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? I mean,
that's not the Steelers' way, right?
No, man, that guy needs to stay in California and go, somewhere and chew on bark.
This comes after Aaron reacted to rumors on the Pat McAfee show in April, telling football fans to ignore word of mouth surrounding his career's next chapter.
Terry Bradshaw, however, responded to the rumors with a different perspective. He emphasized that Aaron Rodgers isn't chasing money or fame. Rodgers doesn't need a massive $20 to $25 million contract or a lengthy deal to consider a move. In fact, he could easily settle for around $10 million for a single year. All those speculations about him demanding a huge paycheck from the Steelers? According to Bradshaw, they're completely false. In a subtle jab at the Hall of Famer who told him to stay in California and chew the bark, Rodgers made it clear that his decision won't be about money. It's about what's best for himself and the game. This adds a new layer to the story, showing Rodgers as focused and grounded amid all the noise.
People assuming they have information about me, that's just not true. I've been straight up with these teams from the start about where I was at, starting with the money thing. I told every single one of the teams I talked to, it ain't about the money. I play for 10 M's, I don't care. I never once said I need a multi-year deal, $30, $40 million. That's absolute bullshit. I said I'd play for 10.
But it's not just Aaron Rodgers who found Terry Bradshaw's speculation unnecessary and off the mark. Many NFL pundits have also weighed in, largely disagreeing with Bradshaw's harsh dismissal. For most experts, Aaron Rodgers is actually a great fit for the Steelers' puzzle, especially given their urgent need for a quality quarterback. Analysts point out that Rodgers' experience, skill, and leadership could be exactly what Pittsburgh needs to turn things around. The consensus? Rodgers could be the missing piece the Steelers have been searching for, but it's not just Aaron Rodgers who found Terry Bradshaw's speculation unnecessary and off the mark. Many NFL pundits have also weighed in, largely disagreeing with Bradshaw's harsh dismissal. For most experts, Aaron Rodgers is actually a great fit for the Steelers' puzzle, especially given their urgent need for a quality quarterback. Analysts point out that Rodgers' experience, skill, and leadership could be exactly what Pittsburgh needs to turn things around. The consensus? Rodgers could be the missing piece the Steelers have been searching for. There's no doubt that Aaron Rodgers is a great player and arguably one of the best quarterbacks of his generation. He emphasized that Rodgers is actually a perfect fit for the Steelers, not just because of his skill set, but also due to his vast experience facing aggressive defenses and high-pressure situations.
I don't agree with him because the Steelers' quarterback room is an absolute joke. Mason Rudolph and Skylar Thompson is just abysmal. Make no mistake about it. Ben Roethlisberger has been going 3 full seasons. They're entering their 4th year without Big Ben Roethlisberger. They haven't had a quarterback since him, as far as I'm concerned, somebody that you can really hang your hat on with the franchise, not to mention the fact the last couple of years he was in Pittsburgh, he was pretty much shot and done. And so I look at it from that standpoint, and I say it's been a while since the Pittsburgh Steelers has had a quarterback, so Aaron Rodgers is going to be an upgrade no matter which way you slice it. So in that regard, I certainly understand and side with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here's the part about what Terry Bradshaw was saying, however.
Stephen A. has long been a vocal admirer of Aaron Rodgers. In fact, he once went as far as declaring Rodgers the greatest quarterback he has ever seen in the history of the NFL. His respect for Rodgers isn't new. It's built on years of watching him deliver jaw-dropping plays, command the field with unmatched confidence, and consistently rise to the occasion when it matters most. So it's no surprise that Stephen A. would defend Rodgers in the face of criticism and push back against Terry Bradshaw's remarks. For him, the idea that Rodgers wouldn't be a good fit for the Steelers simply doesn't add up.
The way I draw the distinction, and I separate from Max's, I think as a talent, Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback that I've ever seen. But I totally agree with that. I totally agree with you that Lawrence Taylor, when you consider the impact.
While many commentators and journalists are backing Aaron Rodgers' potential move to the Steelers, not everyone is on board. Some voices in the NFL circle are openly critical of the idea, including former Steelers safety and current analyst Ryan Clark. Clark acknowledged Rodgers' talent, even calling him by far the best quarterback in the history of the NFL. But he quickly followed that up with a hard truth. Rodgers hasn't played in a Super Bowl in over a decade. For Clark, that raises a critical question. If Rodgers hasn't been able to lead a team to the big game in all these years, why should the Steelers believe he can do it now?
With what you have offensively, we're trying to revamp your run game. Arthur Smith wanting to be run first, then to the play action pass. No George Pickens. What does Aaron Rodgers make you? Does Aaron Rodgers make you a championship contender? Does Aaron Rodgers make you a Super Bowl favorite? As great as Aaron Rodgers is, 4-time MVP, and I say it consistently, the best football player or the best quarterback I've ever played against. And it's not even close. He's only been to the Super Bowl 1 time. He's had a ton of great years, a ton of great regular seasons, a ton of statistics that have been compiled, but he hasn't gotten to the Super Bowl but 1 time.
Instead, Clark believes the Steelers should stay committed to a long-term rebuild, focusing on younger talent in the quarterback position rather than bringing in a veteran with limited championship returns in recent seasons.
You're not going to go win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. Why would you bring that into your locker room? If you're going to truly rebuild, then truly rebuild. Allow a young person, allow a Will Howard, allow a Mason Rudolph to be the quarterback of a team that's not going to compete for a championship anyway. And that's not tanking. That's you making a decision to wait on a quarterback that doesn't know whether or not he wants to play football this year. Now you've gotten it to the point where you're in the second phase of OTAs. If you're a team that's about culture, if you're a team that's about family, that's about championships, you don't allow people to hold you hostage.
Colin Cowherd, never one to hold back, took a more sarcastic approach to the entire situation. He mocked both Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers for what he called their delay tactics, joking that they're actually a perfect match, both hesitant, both dragging their feet when it comes to making a clear decision, and both seemingly afraid of committing to what appears to be an obvious solution. But beyond the jabs, Cowherd did acknowledge a hard truth. Aaron Rodgers is, in reality, a strong fit for Pittsburgh. He pointed out the Steelers' ongoing struggle with playoff success and their growing win drought when it matters most. According to Cowherd, Rodgers' experience and leadership could be exactly what the franchise needs to break out of that slump and get back to being a legitimate postseason contender. In the end, the possibility of Aaron Rodgers joining the Pittsburgh Steelers has sparked a wildfire of opinions across the NFL landscape, from legends like Terry Bradshaw opposing the move to analysts like Stephen A. Smith and Colin Cowherd endorsing it. The debate is as intense as ever. For now, all eyes remain on Aaron Rodgers as both the Steelers and the football world wait to see what comes next. But what do you think? Would Aaron Rodgers be the missing piece the Pittsburgh Steelers need to get back to Super Bowl contention, or would he struggle to adapt and end up being a flop in black and gold? Is this the right time for the Steelers to go all in on a veteran quarterback, or should they stay focused on rebuilding with younger talent? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's hear where you stand on one of the most talked about potential moves in the NFL right now.